Hello everyone, nubkeks here. Welcome back to Nub Star Rail. And in today's video, I want to give you my take, my thoughts. As a new player, been playing the game for about a month and a half now at this point, on kind of how I feel about eidolons and signature light cones. I talked about this a little bit in the last video, but I thought we could do an actual dedicated deep dive into it. It has been really interesting as well, reading your comments. Like I'm just sort of doing this channel for fun and seeing where it goes. It's kind of like mind blowing a bit to get comments of people saying already that my takes and stuff have been helpful. I'm like, all right, cool. Well, all right. That's quite encouraging to do more videos. So thank you for that. I hope you enjoy. If you are new, again, make sure to subscribe, which will help the channel a ton because it is a new channel. If you like it, of course. If you don't, I don't know, unsubscribe, downvote. Do whatever you want, right? It's your life. But hey, let's dive in and let's talk about this. Eidolons and signature light cones. I think that there are, depending on what you like, and I've got a very strong preference in one direction. I'll explain that. I think there's sort of two ways to approach pulling and acquire, maybe even three ways to approach pulling and acquiring characters in this game. Number one, which is not for me, but it has a lot of advantages. It might be for you, is building tall. What I mean by building tall, I think I even have some friends. Let me see. Hang on. If I go in here, building tall is going, and I think Acheron is the perfect example for this because she is so strong when you do that. Let me see. Do you have someone I've got on my friends list has like a crazy eidolon Acheron in here somewhere? Maybe this guy has it. He's got yeah. Okay, so he's got a couple of eidolons, right? Perfect. Because E2. Acheron, S1 Acheron is, yeah, there we go. E2S1 is incredibly strong. It's a perfect example. Building tall is getting eidolons and your signature light cone for the character. It's really investing a ton into it. What are the advantages of doing this? Is number one, you get a really powerful character. I say Acheron is the perfect example because she is just so strong. So if we jump over to full screen the wrong thing. Whoops. If we jump over to pridewin.gg, these are some simulations with Acheron. So it's actually not quite. So you can see here with the two debuffers, two different nihility debuffers. So Acheron gets bonus damage for having up to 2 nihility on her team. Now, when she gets to E2, she doesn't need that. She only needs 1 nihility character. So you can see the difference in damage, right? That is absolutely massive. So this simulation, for instance, is not taking into account, I guess, what the other characters are actually doing, right? Like if we drop to 1 nihility from 2, her damage isn't going up at E2, but obviously you'd be bringing in someone like Sparkle, like a Harmony that's going to mega buffer. But this just gives you sort of a broad insight into what is going on. But like if we look, let's say at E0 with 2 nihility, a signature light cone is a 27% damage increase. Right? If we go up into E2, in fact, because we can drop 1 nihility, we go from, it's almost a double damage increase if you go. It's kind of nuts. Even if we go from this scale, let's say a free-to-play, E0, S0 with the best free-to-play option. And this is probably at S5 on the free-to-play option, which you may not even have, right? You're going from a 100% baseline. If you go up to E2, S1, you're gaining at least 63% damage. Arguably, it's going to be more like you're going up to 200% damage, right? She's doing over double the damage at this level. She is one of the biggest examples of, probably the biggest example of this, of a massive power spike in the game. I think other examples in the game, from what I'm aware of, I think Black Swan is another good example. She would be a good build tall character if that's your thing, right? Her E1 in particular, 25% more damage. It's massive. It basically gives your team penetration, right? Resist penetration. It effectively makes you do more damage. It's a very favorable multiplier that works well with everything. Obviously, she goes crazy at E6, but I mean that's sort of Kraken territory. That's a lot of money right there if you want to do that. Then you've got characters. I've gone the wrong way. I like my Jing Yuan. Here's an example where eidolons, not really that powerful for him. Like, yeah, E6 is powerful, but it's not by much. I mean, it's to the extent where, right, he is from going from E0 in single target to E6, he gains 35% damage. with Acheron, just her signature light cone is almost that big of a damage jump, right? It is very powerful. So she is a much, much better build tall character. Again, I think she is probably the best example. The other good example, I believe, is E2 for Imbibitor Lunae. Another great example of build tall. What are the advantages of this? Is that you get a character that's like obnoxiously powerful. You can basically destroy every sort of content. I think Acheron is probably the perfect example because she ignores weaknesses. She can weakness break anything with her ultimate. So she's got a little bit of agnosticism in terms of elements, right? So she can brute force a lot of stuff. She's the perfect example of a build tall character. Disadvantages. We talked about the advantages. You get supercharged, super powerful. You could probably use her to destroy absolutely everything. The power is going to be insane. What's the disadvantage? The disadvantages for me are, number one, well, it's that now your character, your E2S1 Acheron, is going to be realistically probably twice as strong as a normal DPS, right? Unless you're willing to, again, invest that much in another character to get E2S1, probably is what you're going to need. And in fact, maybe not even then, because she scales so insanely well. Unless this might be something they'll do more of in the future. I think they've made a lot of money doing this, right? So maybe they will have more of these insane, basically money scaling characters in the game. Not very pay to win. I would say it's not the same. It's not unfriendly to free to play. Not exactly, because she's not bad at E0, not at all. But it's more pay to win friendly, because I mean, you pay to win, and she's doing double, maybe even 3 times as much damage. Like it's a huge scale, right? A huge scale. They might do more of that in the future, so you will be able to do this with more future characters. But my worry would be that it's just going to make all your other characters feel bad, and you're kind of going to be locked into, because she's going to be. There's no way, like elemental affinity or a fight being more favorable. It's extremely unlikely that an E0 S0 character can compete with this. Like it's just not possible. So that's it's the two sides of the same coin. Yeah, you get to destroy all the content with her, but it might be bad. It might be bad. Maybe not. Maybe you don't care, but it might feel bad. It would for me. I'll say that for me, it would feel bad to use other characters. They would just feel bad, and I wouldn't enjoy playing them half as much. You just feel like they suck, that they're underpowered. So that would be my worry, especially because I'm trying to do this game low spend. For me, I am doing the what's it called? I can't remember what it's called. Nameless Honor. I'm doing the Nameless Honor pass, and I'm doing the whatever the store pass is called, the Express Supply pass. I'm doing that as well. So not free to play by any means. Low spend, I'd say, overall. What's that, about 15 euro? I guess it's 16 or 17 euro a month. It's not too bad, really, for me. So yeah, that's the thing. It takes a long time to save up the resources as well, right? This is another downside. To get a character at E2, you're basically giving up E2S1. You're basically giving up like 2.5, probably, other characters. Maybe more, because the light cone's a bit easier to get. The Mercy system, you've got a 50-50 to get your, on your first attempt, you've got a 50-50 to get a limited character. You could get a standard character instead. Then if you lose the 50-50, your next one's guaranteed. With the light cone, it's a 75-25 in your favor. So you're quite likely to get the light cone. But still, effectively, every super imposition is almost costing you a limited character. Not quite that bad, but almost. Definitely every eidolon is. That could be an entire other character. So there's downsides, I think, and to that as well. So this is the other way, and the way I'm thinking of playing the game that seems better to me in terms of my preferences is playing wide, which is, okay, I could get Acheron and just do everything Acheron, or I could go wide, right? Instead of getting E2 Acheron, I can get, well, I could, if I wanted to get Acheron, I did a video on why I'm not going for her. You can watch that if you want. But let's say I did want to get Acheron. Let's say I'm a new player. I started right now, today. And you get so many Stellar Jade from doing the story and from your achievements and stuff at the start of the game. You could get her easily. Let's say I got Acheron. I get 2 whole other characters. I think that's, for me, more interesting. You get more variety. I think as well, like, it could have some benefit. Like, I don't think it would outweigh the 200% damage, right? But you do get some benefit to Memory of Chaos, that sort of stuff. Where do we go for that? I always use the thing at the top of the screen. I don't use the phone too much. But like in Memory of Chaos, right? You do get. Can we see the details of this? I don't know. Maybe. Oh, there was a view details button. Probably that would have done it, right? Memory of Chaos and Pure Fiction, they all rotate in these particular rules. Where, like this one, when a trotter is defeated, it's going to summon a trotter, which takes more damage from basic attacks than dots. When it's defeated, if an enemy is afflicted with dots, the dot will immediately do damage and can then do AoE. So this works really well with dot-based characters. So these seem pretty powerful, and they seem to be rotating them a lot, both in Pure Fiction and Memory of Chaos. And it's another interesting question, a very interesting question for me, because I come from Rage Hell Legends, where it's very hardcore, and there's constantly these new modes added to the game that heavily incentivize powering up other characters, like massively so. I'm from what I've been told, I played Genshin for like half an hour and was like, I hate this. I just didn't play it. It was not for me. It was funny that I like this game actually, but I believe in Genshin it's like super casual from what I've been told. Honkai seems to be somewhere in between the two, where apparently Memory of Chaos is getting pretty hard, and Simulated Universe is there now as well. They seem to have a sort of a focus in between where there are new game modes added, and they're trying to make it, make them somewhat difficult and to incentivize, having a lot of characters because of it. And I think it being a turn-based game probably plays more into that, whereas Genshin, more action, you can sort of enjoy dashing around and doing your flashy moves a bit more, I guess. So there could be more stuff in the future where having a variety of characters and being able to build a variety of teams could be beneficial, right? So you're not entirely losing out, I think, by building wide. You can have a variety of teams, and that could be beneficial because of these effects, which are so powerful. Like having a dot team for this particular, whatever it's called, memory turbulence or something, is really impactful. That's very helpful. And that could be that might be fun to you as well, right? That's the question of fun. Smash it out with your favorite character, or have a variety of characters, be able to min-max and have your character, your one or two characters, really focus in on them and have them be the most powerful they can be, or elsewise. I also mentioned there's a third way to play, which I have seen, which is the I'll just grab the characters I like, but I'll grab their signature light cone. I think that's pretty viable too, right? These signature light cones seem to be extremely powerful, and this one is something that I would consider too. Again, the problem is you are going to lose out on some characters, but you get a lot of power from the signature light cone, and it's much less of an investment because, like I said, the 75-25. So like if I look at some of my friends to see some of these, I don't have any, so it's harder for me to show you, but I mean, like Acheron is a good example with her light cone, her signature light cone, crit damage. You inflict Mirage Fizzle for one turn. It's an extra debuff. It builds up her stacks faster so she can ult more. She does more damage with her ultimate to targets with Mirage Fizzle. So it's pretty strong. Baptism of Pure Thought. This is the signature for Dr. Ratio as well. It's giving you crit damage for every debuff. You do more crit damage stacking up. When you use an ultimate, they get the Disputation effect. You do more damage, and follow-up attacks ignore defense, right? These really synergize very well with their specific characters and really enhance them. And they're kind of fun. Light cones are a bit flexible as well. Now, I'd say Dr. Ratio's one actually seems pretty decent. You could switch that around to any hunt character with follow-up attacks. It's going to particularly like that. Acheron's one is much more specific. There's not so many, I'd say, Nihility characters that would like this one. And that's sort of the thing, right? The light cones, I think Jing Yuan is a good example. I don't have a signature light cone, but I think it's supposed to be best in slot from what I'm aware for. Let's see if this guy has it. No, but apparently the Jing Yuan one is really flexible to. He's only level 60. I doubt he has it now. Almost every erudition character basically likes it, though. More so, I think, ones with follow-up attacks too. So the light cones, you can move them around. So investing in a light cone is sort of investing in that class a little bit, though. Perhaps nobody else in that class for a good while might actually like it. So I think that is potentially a viable way to play, especially if you don't love too many of the characters. Be like, all right, I'll get the most out of them with their signatures. I can transfer the signatures around, so that power transfers somewhat to other people. And yeah, I get a bit more out of my characters, and I can still enjoy the others because the power differential, it might be like 25%. But I think oftentimes it's lower, more like 15%. That's like 10 to 25% maybe is the range of power with the signatures. So it's noticeable, but perhaps not so much that it breaks the game. I think that is a viable way to play, especially because the Mercy's a bit kinder. And if you really like a character, then okay, I could see that. For me, I am definitely leaning towards the E0S0 playstyle. Like I said, just get as many characters as possible. I feel this, especially as a new player, not having that many characters. I mean, that being said, we got, Jing Yuan for free, not Jing Yuan for free. We got Dr. Ratio for free, which is really nice. You get your guaranteed 5-star as well from your whatever welcome banner, the 50 warps, the intro banner, departure warp, I think it is. And then you get so many Stellar Jade at the start that you get some of these new characters. And the new characters seem generally, the newer the character is, the more powerful they is, sort of generally speaking. Not quite true, but power creep is certainly a thing in gacha games to keep things spicy. So joining late, you're not so far behind, but still, it's nice to have a variety of characters. So yeah, that's sort of where I'm at. I do think it's absolutely viable, and Acheron would probably be the best example of where it makes sense to build tall, to invest hard into a character, to have someone just supercharged that can destroy everything, but you are giving up a lot of other pulls. And if you're not spending in the game, it means you probably have to save for months to do this, right? Like, for instance, for me, I've been saving for a good chunk now. I've got almost 200 warps. Like, that is not enough. I mean, you could get lucky, right? You could get lucky and could get E2S1. I think for E2S1, I think ballpark figure, you'd more be looking like 300 warps. And I mean, if I was to try go and buy 300 warps, like, how much did that cost me? That would cost a lot of money. Like, the Oneric pouch, if I spent $100, right, for 12,000, is that even enough? Hang on. All right, we've got the calculator up. Let's work it out. So 6480, and this is just a once-off thing. I think I heard, because I was looking into it, I think you do get extra bonuses afterwards, so it's not like the bonuses entirely go away. I don't know. But we get 12,960. If we divide that by 160, we get 81. It's not even enough. So, like, I could pay $100 to sort of make it extremely likely to get the Acheron E2S1, but, like, do I want to spend $100? That, not really, personally, but if you don't care, then, oh yeah. So yeah, let me know what you think. Especially, I'm very curious for people who've been playing longer, how you guys feel about it. I'm very curious, especially if you've gone for either playstyle and really liked it, or regretted it. I'm interested to hear. But yeah, for me, at least at the moment, my plan is to go E0S0. As a content creator, it definitely was a consideration for me. I think I am sticking more low spend for now. I definitely did consider, would it be worthwhile for me to, I mean, basically buy a lot of Stellar Jade and get like copies of everything. Like, just get a Locha. I can never say his name right. Locha? Get a Locha. Get an Acheron. Just get a copy of everything to have everything. But when I worked it out, that's really expensive. Like, really expensive. So I quickly dismissed that idea. I think we'll probably do a video next on managing pulls and like how many pulls to expect and how often to get characters and stuff like that. I think that could be quite helpful. Yeah, because you can kind of get, I mean, looking at the CC videos and people are so hype pulling and stuff, it's easy to get carried away and be like, oh, I'll just pull and I'll definitely get them and I'll definitely get the next character. And you kind of forget, like, oh, well, actually, if I pull for this character, it will mean skipping other characters in the future. You cannot even close. It's not like Pokemon. You cannot catch them. I guess even in Pokemon, you couldn't catch them all anyway. I remember being in Ireland. I don't think you could get a Mew in Ireland back in the day. I think you'd have to travel to Japan or something to get. I don't know. Anyway, there are all rumors in the playgrounds about how to get the Mew if you tapped on the truck on the right day. Oh, all that stuff. We're waffling. Thank you for watching. I hope you've enjoyed me giving my thoughts on this. And like I said, I'm curious to hear what you think. And I'll see you all next time. Goodbye.